Well, hello.
Wow, that was
Well,
well.
it's the Friday Bean Scoop.
Happy Friday.
I'm just doing some techie stuff, y'all. I'll be right back. Hold on.
He's got a little bit of a cough today, so if you hear him sloshing a cough drop,
It's
that's why.
allergies. We're not sick. I know people get alarmed when we say we're sick.
We're fine. Happy Friday. If you came from the Printify webinar and this is your first time hanging out, let us know down in the comments. We are going to be just dedicating this whole live stream to answering questions. Normally for the Friday Bean, we have a topic and then we answer questions afterwards. But as of lately, we have not been able to even cover half of the questions that have been submitted. So I figured that right now would be a great time to just do a general Q&A. This is not a shop critique session, though we do those live. Make sure that you're subscribed, and we're here every Friday at noon Eastern. So if you're one of those people who wants to submit for a crop critique, bring your corn, bring your crops, and we are
I'm especially interested in pumpkins that I can roast.
Yeah, pumpkins, any type of crop. No, shop critiques, we will do one of those very, very soon. We usually try to do like one a month, one every other month. So just keep an eye out for those. If you're on my email list, if you signed up for yesterday's Printify freebies, if you want to sign up for any of my freebies, that puts you on my email list. I don't bug you. I don't try to, spam you, but I do let you know when we're about to go live, what the topic is going to be. That way, to show up if it's something that you don't want to miss. So I don't know when we're going to do one of those, but it should be coming soon. Quickly, before we get started though, I did want to let you guys know that we are continuing our charity today for Syria and Turkey for the earthquakes. We are doing this one for Save the Children, and they are doing a fantastic job of making sure that children, especially those who have lost their parents, are able to access clean water and food and necessary supplies after these earthquakes. So please consider donating at any point during the stream. It doesn't guarantee that your question is going to get answered, but it's just a nice thing to do. So please consider donating. And
do it.
Last little bits, if you missed yesterday's Printify webinar, the link to that is down below in the video description. If you want to watch the replay, it was fantastic. Had a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. You don't have to sell print on demand to watch it. It is about branding, and that is my brand planet webinar. For those of you who have hung around for a while, you probably familiar with that one already. Down below, there's also tons of freebies. The Etsy SE Oodles care package, the 2023 marketing calendars, the customer service swipe files, and the 30-day Instagram challenge kit. All of that is free. You can grab all those down below. Or if you watch yesterday's webinar, you can get all of those things by signing up in one location. And that is exclusively for the webinar. So you'll have to watch that if you want to find a way to get them all in one haul. Mr. Moore, I think I am ready for questions.
And then I guess go ahead and get your questions in.
We had a bunch.
Yeah, we had a few already pop up. Don't repeat your questions. There's no need. We do them in the order that they're received. Yep. So
yeah. All right. I know that we had.
Holy lordy, right off the get.
Victoria was our very first.
Etsy has a gift category. How does that work? If I have tags that have the word gift in it, do I qualify, or is it only if I pay for Etsy ads?
So, Etsy categories are kind of a mystery. Now, when you're filling out your actual attributes, which are the little drop-down menus when you fill out your listing, some of those, I believe, will get you into certain categories if they are specific. For example, home and living, yada, yada. But gifts is very subjective, and I do not believe that there is an actual attribute specifically for gifts. Now, there are occasions and holidays, but I don't see any for gifts themselves. So your guess on that one is as good as mine. Etsy hasn't released that information. Your best bet, if you really, really want to know, is try to contact Etsy directly and ask them. But it might not be something that... It could be a combination of keywords. It could be your keywords plus the attributes that you're using, plus, your tags. But honestly, I don't know. That's one that I'm unsure of. I love how I didn't know the answer to the first question.
No,
it's not one that I've ever seen Etsy.
It's a little bit of an anomaly.
Yeah.
When I offered free shipping to just my UK customers, this is where I'm based. Well, yeah, for delivery, it's shipping. I got more sales and wanted to experiment and see the response for paid shipping. My sales went down. I want to get back to free shipping, but I'd like to do it in other countries too. I've already been shipping to other places, but with a shipping cost. I know I can set up different item prices for each country and wanted to know if this is a good idea and if a lot of people are using this. Of course, I'll add shipping costs to the price.
Everybody is going to have different experiences when they loop their shipping cost into their item price. It's all going to depend on your industry, your demographic, and how much those prices, those bottom line prices, are going to be inflated. For example, somebody who sells, we'll say like stickers. I think that if you saw that a sticker was $10, you might be turned off by that. But then when you put a $2 sticker in your cart and, the shipping is more expensive. Okay, that makes sense to me. Most of this is shipping. But if I'm just scrolling through Etsy and I see that listing on a page and I see that single sticker is $10.
Sticker for $10. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to be a little confused and I might scroll past it and not even give it a chance.
Most people aren't even going to bother.
Right. So, and that's not to say, that's just a wild example. Stickers was the first thing I thought of. But the only way that you're going to know is by testing it yourself and experimenting. And you don't have to do it with all your listings. You could try, just a couple of your listings, because worst case scenario, you can always switch it back. It's not anything that's going to affect Etsy's algorithm or your search placement or anything like that. So you can experiment with it. But just keep a close eye on your sales, and make your decision that way, because ultimately everybody's going to see different results from doing things like tinkering with their shipping costs and their item prices.
So they love the green theme. Green's hard to pull off on camera with like backlighting because it does weird stuff to your skin. It makes everyone kind of olive colored. Good evening from Israel. Hello. It's been a great day. It's day 1 since it snowed. I'm so ready for spring, I bet. All about any California people here get a ton of snow. I saw some buried houses there for a couple days.
Man, craziness. Weather has been crazy.
Let's see. Gilligan said it's my first time on a live. Get out of here. Get out of here, clown. Go back to your island.
Go back to your island. We love you.
Can we only have one item for sale through the Etsy system? When I try to do any sales, Etsy doesn't let me just have one item on sale. It will do the entire shop on sale. Thanks.
When you set your sale, you can select which items you want to be discounted. You should be able to go through as you're setting up your sale and select the items that you want to put on sale.
How are things in Ohio? They are Ohio.
My hometown, Springfield, we had a train derailment last weekend. And that's only a few minutes from here, but thankfully there were no harmful chemicals, though I do know that there were chemicals. They just said that they're not harmful. So we're okay. It's only like 20 minutes away from us.
Just some diesel exhaust liquids, Your makeup's on point. She goes above and beyond because we're going to a concert tonight.
We're going to a rave tonight, and that's
like a legit rave though, not.
and that's not Starla's taking her husband to a rave.
That's me taking her to a rave because that's my kind of jam.
That's his thing. But I'm there to have a good time. It's fine. It's an excuse to do my makeup crazy, right? All right.
Should we use separators between keywords? You can if you want to. You don't have to.
Yeah, I would.
Totally up to you.
Commas are going to save you a little bit of keyword space, but in terms of whatever you decide to use, whether that be bars, forward slashes, commas, the algorithm doesn't care either way. It looks a lot nicer than just having a big jumble of keywords. So I definitely would, rather than just making this big jumble that customers are going to be confused by.
I think you might have confused people when you were talking about shop critiques, because a couple of people put their shops in here. We're not doing shop critiques today.
Oh, not today. Not today. But we will do one soon. It's been a while since we've done one.
People have my listings in their cart but aren't buying. Why? Because they're saving it for later.
Well, here's the thing about carts. My cart on Etsy is always full, and it's not always full with things that I'm actually about to buy. Sometimes it's just things I want to save for later, and I may or may not buy them. Don't stress out. When you see that people have stuff in your cart, that's a positive sign, but it's not a metric that you should put a lot of weight into. Think of it as a good thing for other people who are shopping, who see those listings that say, oh, this is in 2 people's cart right now, because that might speed them up to actually complete their purchases, right? I do not consider items in cart as a metric that is meaningful, and it is not something that you should
Okay.
put a lot of time into or stress about. Okay. Now, what I would say is that if you haven't already, you can set up your abandoned cart coupon, which will send out to people. Some say it happens as little as 10 minutes after they've put an item in their cart. But that can kind of encourage them to buy. Other than that, though, there's nothing really that you can do to, it's not like who put the item in your cart. And even if you did, you're not allowed to message them. So just be happy about it. Do we have a butthead in the chat?
Yeah. Okay, Archeck, I put you in timeout, so you cannot repost the same question for the 9th time. Please only post your questions once. Next time will be a ban.
Yep. We love you guys, but we see your questions.
Yes.
There's a lot
Post
of
it
people here.
once.
Everybody's got to have a turn. Everybody's got to go in order.
How much choice is too much in one listing? I want to offer different t-shirt fits, but I'm worried it might discourage people. Not everybody likes the same fit, though.
Fits are good. Fits. It's good to offer a variety of different fits. And I assume that when you say fits, you don't mean sizes. You mean do you mean an hourglass cut versus like a unisex, kind of uniform size up and down? Now, I would say that it would be a great idea if you're doing it based on fits to have each fit as its own listing and then have the sizes be the variant within the listing rather than looping them all together. Because the thumbnail is going to be very telling on whether or not someone clicks on that listing. And I can very quickly differentiate a product that is an hourglass cut versus a unisex cut. So those could actually just be their own listings. Now, to answer your question, how much choice is too much choice? You definitely don't want to give people too many options, because when we're faced with too many options, we typically get this almost fear of having buyer's remorse for the thing that we haven't even purchased yet. There's an amazing book that I recommend everybody read. It's called The Paradox of Choice by Barry Schwartz. He also has a great TED Talk where he kind of touches on the main topic of the book, but I highly recommend checking the book out. It's fantastic. The cover has like eggs in an egg carton. It's yellow. But this book really talks about how humans are faced with so many choices in our day-to-day life that it actually causes brain fatigue. So when we are creating our listings, if we are offering hundreds and hundreds of different variations, what that can do is it can cause this brain fatigue within our customers. And when they can't decide what the best choice is, they will often choose to not choose, because the easiest option is to not purchase at that point, because then they are minimizing the chance of having buyer remorse by, risking the purchase. So don't overwhelm them with too many choices. All right.
I'm a digital shop interested in bringing some physical products to the shop. Do you think it would harm my shop if I had specific days, Wednesday/Friday, that I ship packages?
As long as you state within your shipping times that it's going to be about a week for processing time.
I would put it at the maximum amount of days that it could possibly be a shipping issue. Like if somebody ordered something on like a Thursday night and it wasn't going to get shipped out until the following Friday, you would want your minimum shipping date to be 8 days, something like that.
Yeah. And you can put it in your listings. You can say we ship every Wednesday and Friday, if you wanted to actually put that in. I would do it in one of your 10 listing photos, honestly. Yeah. But no, I definitely don't think that it would hurt you. In fact, that's when we do print on demand now, but when we had the jewelry store, that's what we did. We had 2 days a week that we actually took things to the post office.
Just say we ship 5 to 7 day maximum, 1 to 7 days. Because I mean, if they order on like a Tuesday, then they get shipped Wednesday. So you obviously don't want to be like, I don't ship for 10 whole days. That's not good either. You want to make it seem like you might ship their order quickly.
Right.
Most people are going to get their order shipped on time.
Exactly.
I ran a 10% off sale and started getting crazy sales. Should I run these sales more often, or should I lower my price to that sale price permanently?
Well, that's not going to have the psychological thrill of someone seeing the items on sale. I would not overdo it. I would not just keep your items on sale all the time. But if you want to run frequent sales, I mean, anything can be an excuse for a sale.
You should have an occasion that you can tie it to.
Yeah, if you Google, holiday every day or holiday every day of the year, every single day there is a holiday. Pick the ones that you think are fun. If you want to have a sale on, I don't know, International Taco Day, and you can somehow tie that to your brand, that's fun. Or maybe you can tie it to something else that's related to what you sell. There's lots of fun ways to do it, but make it into a celebration. There's always a reason to have a sale. I just had one from Squishables during like all that rain, and it was a rainy day sale, which I thought was really funny because I'm like, ooh, was that targeted? Do they know that Ohio is really rainy right now? It was fun.
Is there a reason why sales would suddenly stop? I was getting at least 1 to 2 sales daily, and I haven't had a single sale in 3 days. What could cause this?
That's so many things.
Literally any number of things.
Yeah, customer behavior. It could be that during those days when you were getting a lot of sales, your Etsy was, showing your listings to a lot of people, which is what happens when you make a sale. That's why usually a couple sales follow. That's because your listing quality score is increasing. Etsy is saying, wow, everybody really likes this. I'm going to show it to more people. But just because Etsy's showing it to more people, that doesn't mean that, on Wednesday, maybe on Wednesday, nobody buys it. And then it starts kind of going backwards a little bit, and it starts getting shown to less people. So it makes perfect sense in terms of how the algorithm works, that, if you had one day where nobody was buying, then yes, the listing's going to go backwards a little bit. It's activity in our listing. So sales, positive reviews, and things like that are going to get Etsy to show it to more people. But you just said that you made a bunch of sales on that listing, right? That means that very, very soon, hopefully, you have those customers who completed those purchases coming back to leave good reviews, which can also help to boost that listing back up and be shown to more people. So it's completely normal. There is no way to say that you should be making X number of sales every day of the week. It's just not how the algorithm works, unfortunately. And if you want that consistency, your best bet is not to just rely on Etsy SEO. Do external marketing. That's how you can guarantee a little bit more consistency, is by driving people from your social media. And if you want to do email marketing or things like that.
And just as a reminder, I know we're probably going to have quite a few new people here from the webinar that she did yesterday. I skip questions that are either extremely subjective or are completely unanswerable. Like, I have a new store. What can you tell me to do? Or I'm not making any sales. What can I do? I skip questions like those because there's no feasible way for me to be able to answer that. So if you have a specific question that we can answer, it's better that you ask that and get that answered than me just completely ignore and skip you.
Right. And here's the thing, guys. If you're new here and your question is, how do I make sales, or I'm not making sales, what do I do? Go to my channel, because there are hundreds.
Watch some videos. I mean, seriously.
And they're not all big, long ones like this. I have so many videos that are under 15 minutes long that answer those exact questions. So rather than answer, such a vague question.
We can't answer it.
Right. There's no way to answer it. It would be like going into the doctor's office and saying, oh, doc, my stomach hurts. And the doctor saying, okay, well, let me see you. And you saying, no, don't touch me.
Just tell me what's wrong with me.
Right.
We can't do that.
Right. I got to be able to understand the issue more.
How do you deal with a 4-star review when the comment was very positive?
It's a good review. You don't do anything.
Though, if you are one of those people that leaves 4-star reviews when the product is perfect, 5-star means meets expectations, not goes above and beyond. When you buy a physical product or even a digital product, you're expecting exactly what you buy. Expecting more than what you buy is selfish. So 5 stars is meets expectations. Please don't be the person that leaves a 4-star review on a product that you like.
Yeah.
4 stars is supposed to be like, maybe it got to you a little later than it was promised. Maybe there was something that wasn't quite as described, but it's still a great product. 3 stars is like something went wrong. 2 stars is like it's like not even the same thing, and 1 star is it's a terrible experience. So don't be the 4-star it's perfect guy.
Yeah, but in terms of your question, no, 4-star, that's a good review. And
it's a good review.
Etsy sees it as a good review. Don't worry about it. If I was a customer, I see a 4-star review.
3 and up.
Especially if the comment is positive, that's fine by me. In fact, it makes you look a little bit more realistic, because when you see a shop that is only 5 stars, it's like, is this too good to be true? A couple 4 stars is actually, in my opinion, a good thing.
When I review I look at products reviews, I usually start with the 3-star reviews, and based on what I see there, I work my way up or I work my way down to see what's actually wrong or what's actually good about it.
Yeah,
and a lot of people do the same thing. Maybe you know why Etsy's collecting local VAT. I guess people are therefore pushed to pay it twice, once on Etsy and then once at their local post office as well.
Unfortunately,
We don't know.
yeah, we're since we're in the US, we have no idea.
We
However,
don't have to charge VAT here. So.
right. However, your best bet, because I guarantee you that there is somebody in my Facebook group who knows. We've got over 11,000 people in there. In fact, I think we're almost to 12,000. The link to that's down below. It's free to join. There's 3 questions that you got to answer when you join, just to make sure that you know that to not break the rules. But feel free to post in there and ask. There are thousands of sellers in there that I know are, especially UK sellers. We have a lot of UK sellers who can probably help you.
Upgraded Etsy shop versus basic, worth it?
It depends on what you mean by worth it. Do you mean, well, are you talking about getting Etsy Plus? Is that what you're specifically asking? Etsy Plus is something that allows you to further customize the aesthetics of your shop. It has no impact on your ranking. It has no impact on really anything. You do get some ad credits, but really what Etsy Plus is for is to further the customization and branding of your shop by having things like carousel banners and larger featured sections. If it's worth it to you, it's not going to result in more sales, but if it's worth it to you to have, more branding to create a fun experience for your shoppers to make your shop stand out a little bit more, sure, then great. If it's not worth it to you and you're just like, oh, I don't need more than one banner, I don't need big featured sections on my storefront, that's fine too.
Thanks for getting me addicted to Twitch, guys. I know, and I haven't been streaming. I will be streaming again towards the end of this month. Resident Evil 4 is going to be coming out. It's like one of the best games ever made, and I'm for sure going to stream that. So look for that. If you want to follow me on Twitch, it's been a while since I've streamed, but it's twitch.tv/Professor Prosciutto.
All right.
I'm starting to get started on summer products, so they have time to rank on Etsy. Is it too soon to be posting those reels?
Well, for
summer products, no.
Yeah. So first, have you already listed the products, or are you teasing them with the reels? If you haven't listed the products yet and you're just posting teasers within your reels, it might be a little early to start teasing products that aren't available yet, but you could do reels and TikToks and YouTube shorts if you're doing those. You could do those showing how you kind of make the products. So it's more about like product creation as opposed to teasing the products, because, if I went to your page to try to buy this thing and it's not going to be available till summer, I would be a little put off. But if those listings are already available, heck yes. Absolutely start advertising them. Target right now has bikinis out, and I think it's supposed to snow next week. So you can absolutely start advertising early.
For marketing, would you change your strategy for shops that don't expect repeat buyers versus shops that sell intended to gain repeat buyers?
No, but there are things that you can do to better optimize their experience that can actually lead them. Furniture, I don't think, is a good example, because we buy our furniture from the same shops over and over again. I think that furniture is something that can absolutely encourage repeat buyers. Furniture breaks down, it wears down. You can buy it for multiple rooms. If you move and you have, more space, you buy more furniture. Large art, again, that's something where somebody might buy more. Now, weddings, that would be a hard industry. Hopefully the person isn't getting married a whole lot. But there are ways to encourage repeat buys, or for that individual to share what they have purchased with others so that they're basically advertising for you. So for example, one of my favorite ways that I've seen is people who sell like weddings, and they'll include a card where they want everybody at the wedding gets the special little card with a QR code, and they scan it, and then they're supposed to it'll send them like instructions, or maybe the card has like an Instagram handle. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it, but the premise is that during the wedding, everybody's got their phones out, everybody's taking pictures, and then you can use the hashtag or tag the company that sold, whatever wedding decor and you can be either entered to win something, or you could do a giveaway that way. It just kind of, it's a way to boost engagement. There are so many ways that you can get your customers to share their purchases. Then anybody who follows that customer who sees that, maybe it's a piece of wall art or a piece of furniture, if they share their purchase, everyone who follows them then sees that, and that's free advertising, and it's stronger advertising because it's word of mouth advertising. It's the person, it is a customer who is sharing you. So there are fun ways that you can kind of, encourage those one-time buyers to share for you. But in terms of a marketing strategy, I really don't think that furniture and large art are things that people only buy one of. I think that if you've got multiple rooms, you could sell a whole lot to one person as long as you build a great experience. Like that guy who makes those really cool shelves and the wall panels that we buy.
Yeah, he's got all different kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I do have a question of sorts today. I rebranded my digital shop. I was told I should have a photo collage on my banner instead of a nice, clean, cohesive banner. Thoughts? I'm not a fan of it, TBH.
No, your banner your banner isn't an ad. They're already in your shop seeing the product.
Your banners for brand recognition, and then occasionally if you do like a holiday sale, like if you want a Christmas banner or something.
Right. My question is, who gave you the advice, and why are they qualified to give advice, and does it go against your brand? That's a very weird and very specific piece of advice for somebody to give kind of off the cuff without knowing anything about your business.
A photo collage is a banner. I mean, it sounds like an amateur move, right? Like it sounds like something like, oh, I'm going to stick all my products in my banner. Like,
and I've seen shops that do it well, but that's a really weird piece of advice. If you want to test it, you totally can. But I think that you have beautiful branding already. I think that you're doing a fantastic job. It's not like it's a billboard,
Right.
People can scroll down and they'll see your product. So that sounds like some hokey pokey advice to me.
I sell one of a kind. If something does not sell and has been renewed, I retake the pictures. Would it be better to copy and relist as a new listing, or just retake the pictures and renew for a third time?
Retake the pictures. That's fine. You don't need to create a new listing. If there's no listing quality score there, it doesn't matter either way, whether you create a new listing or not. What I would say is it's almost better to just go in and rework your keywords a little bit. If you have redone your photos and you realize, okay, pictures obviously aren't the problem, that's when you move on to SEO. Now, I do have a really great video on my channel that talks about the steps that I would take to revive a dead listing before you touch your SEO, because that should be your last case scenario. And photos, that is one of the things that I say. But if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend going back and watching it. I think it's called something like how to make your Etsy listings sell. And I know that I released that one like right at the start of January. But yeah, just keep the same listing and work on it, because any bad listing can be revived.
Etsy seems to only allow us to select sections for sales. What I do is create a category for that one item and then select it for the sale.
Okay, so that was the one in terms of the got it.
Damn, son, y'all gonna have party at the rave. Yeah, we are. Subtronics, he's gonna tear it up. Always does. Can you give us the 100 Etsy listings link?
You've got to get those from a seller. There's not just one link. Every seller has the ability to give you a link, and I am live streaming right now, so I cannot provide you with that. But if you want one, you can probably go to my Facebook community and say, hey, does anybody have a free listings link? And, post down there.
Could you one day do a video about SEO for shirts and sweatshirts? I have such a hard time not repeating the word shirt, sweatshirt, and sweater. Thing is, SEO for like one particular thing doesn't necessarily matter. The same logic is going to apply across the board. And we do discuss that quite a bit here.
Yeah, Craig, you don't need to repeat those terms. Think less about what the item is, what the item is, and who it is for.
Didn't we just talk about SEO for Etsy last week?
Yes, we did. Think more about who the item is for. And I do have a fantastic video on my channel called How to Do Etsy SEO for Print on Demand, where, I talk about this. And even if you don't do print on demand, even if you print your own shirts, that's fine. But go watch that video. I did it for Printify. It is a fantastic video, but it is on my channel. If you search like Starla more SEO, print on demand, it will be one of the first things that pops up. It's got a green thumbnail. But either way, the process for SEO is the same. Just stop trying to find 100 ways to say shirt. You've already got that part covered. You need to get a little bit more creative about the ins and outs of exactly who that product is for. And, because they already know you want to be known for shirt. I'm sure you put it in your categories. You're not getting extra shirt points for putting shirt in there as many times as you can. I would focus more on the target customer.
And Anthony Perez had asked us, where's her Facebook link? All applicable links will be down below. Otherwise, we'll post them in the chat.
Facebook link?
Should be down below.
Oh, for the group. Yeah.
Yes.
Or you can just search Handmade Alpha Facebook community on Facebook and it should pop right up.
Hi from Toronto. Is there an offer or a way to offer add-on to an item with a price added? For example, buy item and get the additional item half price. Is it possible?
You can create, the only thing that you can do is create a variation within your listing. You can create 2 variations within a listing, and one of those variations can be paid. So for example, if you wanted to do like a gift set, maybe I'm selling this cup, and you can add the straw for an extra like $2 or something, right? So they can buy the cup by itself, or they can purchase the paid variation of cup with straw with the price of the straw included as one of the variations. That would be the best way to do what you're asking.
Trying to be serious here. Slogans.
Okay.
Where should I put them on Etsy? I'm trying to redo my business cards eventually. I added it to my group and Facebook page banner. Do I just add it to the bottom section?
For your actual shop, I would stick your slogan right on your banner. I would put it right under your logo on your banner. That way you're not utilizing your tagline for your slogan.
If it's a slogan, it goes along with the name usually.
Yeah. I would stick it right on your banner. That your slogan is your promise to your customers. It is your brand's promise.
Is it good or bad to have a high number of unique tags for under 200 listings?
No. Unique tags. If you're looking at eRank, it's just telling you that those tags are, that's how many different like variants. That's how many different tags that you have used. And really it's not a metric that means anything. It really isn't. It's a meaningless metric.
Feels like there was a conversation okay. So they were having a conversation about the.
Oh, okay.
I was doing great in sales for the last 3 months. The most I went without a sale was 2 days. It's been 5 days since my last sale. We can't answer that for you. Sorry.
Yeah. David, the thing is, if you're only relying on Etsy SEO to bring all of your traffic, you're going to have inconsistencies like this. That's just kind of how Etsy's algorithm works. That's why I really encourage you guys to get on social media and start driving a little bit of your own traffic, because there are 3 ways to get traffic to your shop. Okay. There's Etsy SEO, that's internal traffic. That's traffic that's already on Etsy.
Organic,
exactly. There is external traffic. That's traffic you drive yourself. That is, social media traffic.
Email list.
Well, that's its own.
Yeah.
So social media traffic, that's, Instagram account, which I do have a 30-day Instagram challenge kit down below. It's free. And that can help you get started. But then there is also direct. Direct would be if you have an email list, if you do any, email marketing where you're actually corresponding directly with people who have opted in, that is also an option as well. So internal traffic, Etsy SEO, external traffic, that's going to be social media marketing, and then direct, that one's a little bit more advanced, but that's email list marketing. I would focus on the Etsy SEO part and the social media part before you dive into the email list marketing part.
I sell digital products and it takes time and energy to design them, 2 weeks to a month. That's a long time for a digital product.
Yeah, it is.
It's working well, but I always worry about not coming up with new listings all the time. Advice.
Oh, you don't need to come. Okay, so there are so many people that think that the best thing to do is saturate. Create as many listings as you can. It was one of the big things that Martin and I talked about yesterday during the Printify webinar. Creating as many products as you can is as good a strategy as saying, I need to pay my bills for the rest of my life, so I'm going to play the lottery every day. Sure, you're increasing the probability that you're going to win because you're playing more frequently, but that does not necessarily mean that you are going to win, not to mention it's going to get expensive. And you listing that many items on Etsy constantly is also going to be expensive. What Etsy likes to see is positive activity. And most of that positive activity that they're identifying is from your customers, not from you. So adding listings all the time, not the best strategy. What's even better than that is encouraging your shoppers to interact with those listings in a positive way. So for example, every time somebody buys one of your products, that boosts your listing quality score. Every time somebody reviews one of your products, that boosts your listing quality score. Every time somebody finds your listings organically while searching, not if you tell all your friends to go, hey, click this link to go to my listing and favorite it. That doesn't do anything. But if they're already shopping and they type in some keywords associated with your listing and they actually find you while they're shopping and favorite you, that can help your listing quality score. So those are all positive things. Now, what you can do to boost that listing quality score on your own is to do the social media marketing like we talked about, because it doesn't matter if somebody came to your listing from an external link. If they buy it, not if they favorite it, favorites don't count, but if they buy it, that does help your listing quality score. If they review it after that, that does help your listing quality score, and that can help that listing be shown to more people. So it's not about making as many listings as possible. It's not about buying more lottery tickets, It's about making sure that the listings that you have are working super duper hard for you, and you have to kind of help them along by doing things like external marketing. So I hope that answers your question.
I don't know where that comment comes. So giving it away near free and getting some comments is best.
What?
Don't know what you mean by that.
What do you mean, Anthony? Let us know.
Filing taxes with a pro versus filing on my own. What profit threshold do you think is good before I pay the money to file with a pro? Ballpark number. I can't really answer that specifically, but I mean, if you're making in the thousands, it's usually worth it to just get a tax professional. I mean, and if you're receiving a tax form from Etsy, which is what, 10,000, 15,000, I can't remember how much you have to make before they actually send you a tax form.
They just changed the threshold. Is it 10? It's 10, right?
I mean, if you're receiving a tax form, you're at a point where you should be. Because, I mean, there's so many things, especially in the U.S., that you're not going to know that you can write off.
Yep.
And you can really screw yourself. Or things that you didn't know that you needed to be charged for. I mean, you never know. So I prefer a professional. We use block advisors. Highly recommend those, especially if you're in the like 6-figure and above range. You definitely should not be filing you're silly if you file your taxes on your own.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
make $100,000 or more a year. But yeah,
because things change every year and it's their job to know. Block advisors, not to be confused with H&R Block advisors,
same company, different thing.
Yeah, they specialize in small business and they are fantastic.
I thought you could target people who had an item of yours in their cart with a coupon or discount.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Sales are completely sporadic every week. There's no consistency. Some weeks are busy on Monday and a weekend. Other weeks it's Thursday. No rhyme or reason. How can I predict the selling pattern? You can't, because there is no pattern.
Yep, there's no pattern, Marina. I know that it sucks, but that's just kind of how you are competing against 5 million sellers. It's Etsy's moving you all around. They're taking all of your listings and they are shuffling them in all different searches. And there's no way to build a pattern when there are 5 million other people with their own hundreds and thousands of listings. I wish I knew how many listings were on Etsy. I wish that was.
There's probably no way to. It changes so constantly. There's probably thousands on and off the platform every minute.
Yeah.
Who's Etsy's competition?
Who's Etsy's competition? Etsy currently doesn't have any competitors that are bigger than them in what they do. But if you guys want to compare, if you guys want to do things like compare Amazon traffic to Etsy traffic, eRank has a really great tool called it's just called Sites, where basically you can enter any marketplace website like URL. Like, we could do Etsy.com versus Redbubble.com, for example. And you can compare which one gets the most traffic. That way, if you're trying to decide, which of these two marketplaces should I sell on, you can actually compare and see which one does better and pick the one that does better. But as of right now, Etsy's number one. And then obviously, Amazon is going to be above Etsy, but that's Amazon as a whole, not Amazon Handmade. Amazon Handmade is still below Etsy.
I have listings with good SEO, yet most of the listings are not visible on Etsy. How and why do I fix it? Your listings are visible on Etsy. That's not correct.
Yeah, why do you think that your listings are not visible on Etsy? Are you not being seen? You have your SEO in place, but you're not getting any traffic and your listings aren't getting views, then you don't know if your SEO is good. You can't say my SEO is good if it's not bringing you traffic. Now, I will say that you can always experiment with your thumbnails because you can have the best SEO in the world. And if the thumbnail, even if it's a good photo, if the thumbnail isn't actually, doing well in comparison with all the other listings that are on a search page, then it doesn't matter if your SEO is good. Nobody's going to click on your listing. So I would start with your photos, kind of tweak them, shuffle them around, put a different thumbnail in there just to see if that might be the issue. But if it's not, then you've got to be willing to change that SEO because there is no way to say my SEO is good if it's not bringing you traffic. If it's not bringing you traffic, then it's not good. Or maybe it's just not good for you. The thing about SEO is it is not set it and forget it. You have to constantly keep an eye on it. Now, that's not to say that you should change it every day because it can take 60 to 90 days for Etsy to fully help you accumulate a listing quality score for those listings based on the keywords you want to be known for. But you do have to keep an eye on them because search trends change every single month. So, for example, I could say, yeah, masks. Face masks. Face masks do great. I have seen those selling. They've been doing awesome. That might have applied a couple years ago, but now there's hardly any searches for face masks. So, if I listed a bunch of face masks back in 2020, heck yes, they would have been great and the SEO would have been great, but it's not great anymore. So there are a lot of factors that play in that you have to keep a close eye on.
How to find bestsellers now that the button is gone.
How to find bestsellers. So
Excuse me.
Are you asking how, while you are like from a shopper perspective, how to specifically identify bestsellers? I heard that if you go into your filter button, like for when you type in, maybe I'll type in a search term and it populates the search page, and then you click on the filter button on the left side and you filter by star seller people, which I just did a big video about this on Tuesday. You should definitely go watch it. But if you filter by star seller and then you go back to the URL where it changed it to Etsy.com / feature equals star dash seller, and you change star dash seller out to best sellers or bestseller.
Something like that.
It's something like that. It'll populate it with bestsellers, which is now the only way to access that. That's something that somebody else told me, but why do you want to see those? You just want it for, seeing what's popular in your industry, I assume.
Do you advise to sell parts of a bundle right after I list the full bundle, or it doesn't matter? I mean, speaking about maybe I lost some sales on the full bundle. Digital products. Can they sell individual pieces and bundles? Yeah, that's totally fine.
Totally. I would because maybe I only want the one piece of the bundle. Maybe I don't want the full bundle. Maybe I just want the one thing. I would.
Is there really any other sites you can sell handmade items at? Not that I'm looking anywhere, just curious. Yeah, there are, but they're really not worth it at this point.
Yeah, Amazon.
As they grow, maybe. But
Amazon Handmade is currently Etsy's biggest competitor, but
if there's a legit competitor to Etsy that comes out that becomes big like Etsy, we'll probably start talking about them too.
Yeah.
You'll know as soon as we do because we'll start talking about it too.
Yep.
Any ideas on how to get people to leave reviews? We sure do.
Yeah, down below. Get my my 5-star customer service strategy. It's free. You use those.
It works. The thousands of testimonials. It works.
Yeah. So what this does is it is a series of messages that you send your customers throughout the transaction process. They are approved by Etsy. In fact, Etsy recommends them now, not my specific ones, but they recommend doing exactly what I'm saying because what I started teaching got so popular. And basically, throughout the transaction process, you make 5 points of contact, including letting your customer know how to leave a review, not messaging them and saying, Hey, leave me a review. Hey,
It's a process, and if you get it from down below, you'll get it. It's totally free. There's nothing to buy.
But check it out and read the full page because it's got a lot of information on why they work, and it helps your search placement because good reviews help to build your listing quality score, which can help you rank in search. So it's also good for your SEO.
Yes, Daddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. I want to know why I'm not getting a single sale in my store. We can't answer that for you.
Yeah. Just if you're not getting sales, you need to ask yourself, what is the issue? And I know that that's hard and that's why you're asking us, but I'm not looking at your store, so I can't answer that for you. You have to be able to diagnose that on your own through process of elimination. Okay.
Scientific process.
Exactly. So start with thumbnail photos are usually the best place to start. Is it my thumbnail? Is my thumbnail the issue? Is my product in demand? You know, do I feel passionate about what I make? And I see this a lot with print on demand sellers who just put crap on a t-shirt and they think that somebody's going to want it when they didn't put any time into the design. They're just trying to make as many things, make all the things. If there's no love and care and purpose behind the product and you're not catering to a niche, it's probably not going to sell well. Just because you made it doesn't mean that somebody wants it. And I'm not saying that that's the case for you, but you have to really, really dive deep into what the issue is by process of elimination, by starting with one point. Is it my thumbnails? Okay, well, let's change my thumbnails and see if that works. Is it my pricing? Well, let me play with my pricing a little bit and see if that's the issue. Is it my SEO? Okay, let's change my keywords a little bit and kind of watch it. The thing about Etsy is there are so many factors that play into success, and it's why we cannot tell you why you're not making sales. You have to be a little scientist. You have to go and actually perform experiments with your product. And everybody who's successful on Etsy is doing that. They are performing experiments, identifying what does work, and then continuing to do that. It's like when you breed a dog. If you have two little dogs and they have puppies that are, you know, maybe one or two of those puppies is taller, you continue breeding the tall puppies until you end up with a taller breed of dog, right? It's kind of like that for determining how to create successful listings. You identify what trait in your listing is doing well, and then you continue doing that until you have a listing that does really, really well. So
one famous YouTuber said the more listings, the better.
There are tons of YouTubers who say that. And those, if you want to try that strategy, that's great. But you guys can all go research it for yourself by going to erank.com's top sellers report, taking a look at the #1 sellers on Etsy and identifying that a majority of them, I mean, yes, a lot of them do have a lot of listings,
but not like the thousands of listings that most of these YouTubers try to push you to have.
Right. Well, all those YouTubers who talk about make as many listings as possible, they never talk about what you're actually making and the purpose of it. Yeah, if you buy 1,000 lottery tickets, you're probably going to make some money, but it gets expensive and you have no defined target.
And it might not actually do anything is the main problem. You might spend months. Yeah, you're gambling. And you're building a brand that's less about building a connection with the customer, building the repeat customers and the long-term customers and the lifelong fanatical fans. And you're exchanging that for the occasional burst of cash that may or may not happen based on whether or not something that you sell goes viral at the time.
Right. You're not doing anything scientific that way. You're just buying lottery tickets and hoping that you're going to make an income that way. And that's not a good sustainable strategy.
Remember, having a lot of subscribers doesn't automatically make you good at what you do. And a lot of YouTubers will be in one industry before they switch to another and already have 100,000 plus subscribers before they switch to a different industry. And it looks like they're really good at what they're doing. It's actually a pretty common thing, especially in the Etsy market. A lot of people that were in like the crafty market or some of these other little markets that kind of relate to it. There's a lot of Etsy YouTubers that the majority of their subscribers are not Etsy sellers. They're something completely different. Some of our direct competitors actually are like that.
You also have to be careful with people who rely on anecdotal evidence, which is, you know, I did this in my Etsy shop and it made me successful, so it'll make you successful. That's not how Etsy works. That's not. You could go to the #1 selling listing on Etsy. Maybe it makes millions of dollars. Maybe it makes millions of dollars a day. And you could copy that exact listing, copy their photos, their tags, titles, description, prices. You could do exactly what they're doing. you don't have that listing quality score.
You can plant a palm tree in California, but you can't plant it in Ohio, right?
Right, it'll die.
It'll die. Worked for them, but it's not going to work for you.
Anecdotal evidence is not scientifically conclusive, and it is not always repeatable, especially in a marketplace that assigns different scores to every individual seller on the platform. Now, the benefit of following Mark and I is, I just saw somebody ask, what do you guys use for keyword research? erank.com. We're managers at Etsy's largest SEO website. So what that means is that we have over 1 million case studies that we can kind of use as a reference point to analyze patterns, to analyze what is important to both buyers and to sellers, okay? And we can also analyze what is working and translate that over to you guys. So...
Do you guys sell digital only? No, do we not? We do not.
We do print on demand
now,
but I did do jewelry. I was a top 1% jewelry seller. Then Swarovski crystals a couple years ago. I'm sure if you guys did jewelry, you heard the big Swarovski debacle. They won't allow individual sellers to use their products, yada yada. I quit shipping for a while, invested myself more into eRank, and I do a lot over there. So now I'm more on the scientific Etsy side, where you kind of have that cool girl on the inside who can give you really awesome advice that,
We also work one-on-one with numerous sellers, not to mention the over 1,000 sellers that are in our course now too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And a lot of those we do work one-on-one with. I guess my question is, I do digital stuff, but if I got the machine to make the stuff, would that be best? I don't know if Etsy people are the people that like buying things rather than creating things.
Oh,
it's either or, honestly.
Yeah, there are plenty of people who are successful doing exactly what you're asking. My biggest piece of advice, if you want to talk to others who are in your industry, is post in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community. Maybe post a photo of what you currently sell and ask, what other people's experiences are kind of transitioning into physical product. But yeah.
Do favorites help boost a listing?
Favorites only help to boost your listing quality score if they are genuine and organic. So if you post your listing on Facebook and tell everybody to go favorite it, that's not going to do anything for you.
Rob said, I've had 14 listings for 2 years, doing just fine.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So favorites are only going to help you if somebody is genuinely on Etsy shopping, they type in some keywords, and they find you for those keywords, and then they favorite you from there. And it's only a little itty bitty boost to your listing quality score. It's not enough that you should focus too much on it.
Rob said, if you UPS for shipping, they will pick up for $4 no matter how many packages you have.
Awesome.
I'm noticing several of my followers are actually competitors within my niche. As a new seller who's working hard to build a true following, what can I do? Just ignore it?
Yep.
A sale's a sale. At the end of the day, they're helping
followers. They're not buyers. They're followers. So they're just watching what she's doing.
Got it.
There's nothing you can do.
Misread.
Just ignore it. It's, you know what? It's fine. Following your competitors. I follow my competitors. I have tools where I can analyze my competitors. You know what you can do though, is go to erank.com and go into the competition tab and start tracking them. Start keeping an eye on what they're doing, because they're probably doing it to you. Don't feel bad about tracking them in your competitive shops tab, because I would be keeping an eye on them if I were you.
But would you guys do Fiverr traffic? What do you mean by that?
Would you guys do Fiverr traffic? Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to teach how to sell on Fiverr. We don't have any experience with the platform, if that's what you're asking.
Etsy. Every once in a while I talk about Redbubble, but we're Etsy coaches.
And we can talk marketing and strategy as well. Stuff that doesn't have to do with your Etsy shop if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Question about ad budget. Do you recommend to change ad budget to different amounts at different times? For example, increase budget on the weekends?
Experiment. Test it. You can see for yourself, what's working for you better than I can try to guesstimate it. And it's going to be different for everybody. Everybody's going to see different results just depending on what industry they're in and their target audience.
Scientific deduction. You do exactly the same thing as everybody else. Test that out for a couple of weeks. If you make less money based on switching it up and down, stop doing that and go back to doing what you were doing before.
Yep. And my biggest piece of advice for everybody who has questions about Etsy ads, where to start, is to advertise your best bestsellers.
Mm-hmm.
Your bestsellers, they're already proven to win. You already know that they're doing well. They're your winning racehorses. Bet on those winning racehorses. Bet your money on what you know is already going to win, because you're more likely to make a bigger return on that investment.
Excuse me. I purchased an item from another Etsy seller and I did not sign up for a mailing list, but I keep getting direct mail from them and they're a big shop. How do they get away with sending direct mail? Because you haven't reported them yet, because that's against the law.
Yeah, they can't do that.
Report them. I mean, really, report them. It's against the law. You can't, it's a privacy issue.
Yeah, they can't do that. Now, if you want to, I'm sure that you could message them if you didn't want to go to that extreme, because I'm sure you're not the only person. And I'm sure that they don't mean anything by it. But if it is getting on your nerves, message them and
the thing is they're not going to get their shop shut down. You could attempt to message them and do what she said, you know, tell them, you know, this is, you could find the exact laws and policies and be like, hey, you're breaking the rules. Please don't send me mail anymore. And you should probably stop doing that. And if they send you a negative response, just report them to Etsy. That's what I would do. There are so many people out there breaking the rules and breaking the law that, I mean, at this point, I don't even bother contacting them directly. I just go straight to the source. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time. Please indulge me because this is completely unrelated, but I hope you answer this. What eyeshadow palette are you using? I'm obsessed with these colors.
I'm using the Morphe Lisa Frank palette with, it's got a rainbow tiger on the front. I got it from Ulta.
Big week for my business. The fashion editor for Wall Street Journal asked me to submit products for an upcoming shoot. Thanks for Starla and HA for helping me create a professional brand image. Please email us. Please email us and keep us in the loop. We like to follow this kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's bragging rights.
Yes, Emily. Let us know.
Because we had, if you didn't know, we had a shop last year that was featured in a TV show.
Yeah, Lucifer. Rhinus Leatherworks. If you go...
Y'all here? There's 350 of you here. They might be here.
Yeah, Elva and Mark. We've got a video on my channel where they talk about it, but they actually created the armor for the final season of Lucifer.
And they're also working on another TV show that we can't talk about. Well, I mean, we've talked about it publicly already. But
they were here, though.
They were here. Everybody's talking about the technical part, but nobody's asking about the mental one. So the question would be, how do you keep yourself motivated if you are a beginner?
Oh, my biggest advice for motivation is that it is not going to last and you've got to buck up and do it anyway. Here's the thing. Motivation is fleeting. And Mark and I know this better than anybody because though we're kind of chubby bunnies now, we used to be on well, he was on a bodybuilding team.
I was a near professional bodybuilder, yeah.
He trained with
Jeremy Buendia.
Yeah, Mr. Olympia physique. I was also in stage prep. And the thing about motivation is that there are days when no matter what you do, you are not going to feel motivated to do it.
Maybe you had one too many cup of coffee the day before and you ain't got no energy left.
But
got to do it.
It's called grit. It's
grit.
It's
good old fashioned grit.
It's grit. Mark knew that better than anybody. He was also in the military.
Working 16-hour shifts at the same time. It was terrible.
Then he gets a phone call at 6 o'clock in the morning. Put on your PT gear. It's time to run.
We're going to run a 5K today. No thanks.
You have to decide if it is important to you. And here's the cool thing. And I know that this is going to sound harsh, but it's something that everybody here needs to hear because it's something I have to tell myself all the time. If it's important to you, you'll do it.
Yep.
If you're not doing it, it's not that important to you right now. And I know that that really sucks. And I'm not talking about, if you've got like 10 kids and you can't even find time to like feed yourself. I'm not talking about you guys because we always have those people who are like, I don't have the time. That's not what I mean. If it is important to you, you will find a way. So, assuming that you don't have any huge like disabilities or family issues that keep you from being able to do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, the good thing about kids is they grow up.
I mean, really, if you want it, you'll do it. That's how it is. That's how motivation. If you're not motivated to do it, there's some days where you're lagging and maybe you need to take a step back, take a look at what you're doing and see if like, maybe I'm burnt. Maybe I've done too much and I need to take a little break. And
show them what you got.
Yeah. I went ahead and started. It's all tangled up in my stuff, but I went ahead and got myself a Legend planner as well. The camera's having a hard time on the black on black, but take a look at what you're actually doing. Write down everything that you do. Plan your days in advance. And if you get stuff done and you have extra work that you can do it. If not, take yourself a break. But document everything that you do. It puts things into perspective, and you probably do more than you think you do.
Yeah, I've got a video from New Year's where I talked about my favorite planner, which is the Legend Planner, and then all of the Handmade Alphas went and bought one. But go back and watch that video. I kind of break down what's in the Legend Planner a little bit. I highly recommend it, especially for people who find it hard to stick to a schedule that you build yourself, because it's not like a day job. You know, day job, you got to do it. You're on the clock. When it's your own hours and you get to pick, sometimes you make wrong choices, and everybody does. I do it. But having the planner actually really does help.
It makes a huge difference.
It does.
When I price up with my fellow competitors in my niche, my sales dip, but I'm about $3 to $4 under and would like to bring the pricing up. Tips for reaching buyers with a bit more spending power. I mean, you really just increase your prices and
be patient.
Be patient.
If your competitors are making more money and charging those prices,
then you can too.
There is no reason that you cannot. But if you're still not making the sales, I would start looking at other things. Why are they selling and I'm not? Most of the time, it's photos, it's branding, it's trust building elements. Branding is really important for your overall trust. And I recommend, if you didn't watch yesterday's Printify webinar, it's linked down below. You don't have to sell print on demand to watch that. I talk about the importance and the psychology of branding and why it's so important for success. Those are the elements that I would start looking at if you want to increase those prices.
Etsy never drives me traffic. Are ads worth it? Tips. Ads are worth it if they work. I know that's a really crappy answer, but yeah. Etsy ads are kind of an anomaly. They work for some people phenomenally. Some people only get sales through ads. Most people don't get any sales extra using ads.
You can't put money behind something that already isn't selling and isn't doing well, and suddenly it starts making money. That's not how it works. You can't, I always say, you can't take a pile of poo and show it to more people and therefore it sells. If it's and I'm not saying that your listings are, but if people aren't going to click on that listing to begin with, and they're not going to click on it just because there's ad revenue for it. So I would try to diagnose what the other issues are before you start putting money into it.
Recently watched a video where they said we should have 100+ items in our shop. They also said it's better to add 1 item a day versus 3 items once a week. What's your thought on that? I think that's stupid.
Yeah, I think we already covered that a lot during this stream, but there's no...
But what's the evidence for that? What's the evidence that adding an item every single day helps? That was a strategy, like, God, over 10 years ago now on Etsy, because Etsy gave your shop a huge boost every time you put new products into it. And people would also renew their listings like every day or every week because it would shoot their shop to the forefront. Their algorithm doesn't work the same way. That advice is over 10 years old.
Yeah, that's not a sustainable strategy either. And if you can create a product every day, you're probably not putting that much time into your products. And that's, you know, like I said, if you've got to pay your bills, the best strategy is not to go buy a lottery ticket every day. It really isn't. If you want to do that, though, that's fine. Test it for yourself. Test it for yourself and let me know if it works. And if it doesn't, it's probably a good idea to start thinking a little bit more strategically about launching product lines and doing a bit of marketing rather than just increasing the frequency of the things that you make.
Will it hurt my store if I do a test? For example, if I copy an existing listing and keep everything the same, but change the title keywords, what's the max number of tests I can run at a time on a single product?
Oh, no, it's not going to hurt you at all. There's no max number. Now, I wouldn't just fill your shop, obviously, but if you want to test 2 or 3, it's A/B split testing. That's totally fine. As long as you're doing them within one shop. If you've got 2 shops, don't post the same thing in 2 shops. That can get you shut down. But yeah, you are absolutely able to A/B split test with things like your keywords or changing up your thumbnails. That's totally fine. I would just make sure that the price is the same. That way, you know, if I bought something and then I saw the same thing listed in that shop, but for less, I would get pretty mad.
What's the difference between views and visits on the Etsy app?
It's the same both on the Etsy app and on desktop. It's irrelevant for, you know, to say app.
Yeah.
But the difference between views and visits is views are how many people are viewing items. So if I went to your shop, I would count as 1 visit, right? But if I saw, you know, clicked on 5 different items, That's 5 views, right? I
Mhm.
viewed 5 items, but I was 1 visitor.
Views also count when you search in the search bar if your listing comes up in a search, correct? I'm pretty sure they do.
No,
No?
they have to
Maybe
be
they
clicked.
changed that.
They have to be clicked on.
If I will be on vacation for longer than my processing time, should I put my shop on vacation mode or just update the processing time and add an announcement that I'm on vacation?
Either is fine.
But about the same. Either or.
Either is fine.
You can't make sales if you're on vacation mode. Just understand that you might be overwhelmed when you get back.
Yep, either is fine.
Selling for 2 years, over 3,500 sales, down for 2 months. I'm optimizing. Pictures are good. 5-star reviews still coming in. 100 listings. Etsy ad is $200 a day and 0 sales this week.
Yeah,
It happens.
It happens. I would definitely, if you are like eating through your profits by keeping your Etsy ad budgets up so high, I would definitely pull back a little bit. Don't feel like you have to continually funnel money into Etsy ads. In fact, we get tons of sellers who say that they turn their Etsy ads off and they start making sales again.
Yeah.
So just be
Their
careful.
algorithm doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason right now.
Etsy ads has its own algorithm that's completely separate than the Etsy search algorithm.
And it's additive, not yeah. In Printify, I accidentally published the same listing twice. Can I change the design to a new one in Printify? Should I publish it again to get it to Etsy newbie POD?
I would have to see exactly what you're doing, Linda. I can't visualize what you're asking, but feel free to post in the Facebook group with the screenshot, preferably.
I have an email list I've abandoned for a number of months, but want to re-engage with my clients. Any advice on breaking the ice again? What module in HAA is this?
I don't think that we have an icebreaker module for HAA, but just send a, hey, remember me email to your list.
I'm back.
Hey, yeah, say, give them a little update. It's perfectly fine. I would do it sooner rather than later. And email lists are covered in module 5 and 8. 5 for setup, 8 for cleaning and campaigns.
I opened a second shop about 6 weeks ago. I have views and a few likes, but no sales yet. Are there ways I can use my established shop to help drive some sales to my new shop?
I mean, kind of. I mean, you could put some inserts into your packages, that say check out my other shop, maybe put a QR code on it. You could, you should, in your actual personal bio, you should make sure that you've got both of your shops listed. But it takes time to get a new shop off the ground. I would maybe just make some business cards for that new shop with a QR code and add a coupon code that you put into the packages of your other orders.
What do you think about selling real art prints and printable versions of the same art in the same shop, even in the same listing? Too confusing?
I would do them separate
and make it very clear what they are.
Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, test both. A/B split test that, because I can't tell you what behavioral patterns your shoppers are going to have, but test it by having the printable version versus the physical. In fact, can you split those? I don't even think that you can split. I don't think you can put those together. I don't think that you can have a digital version and a physical version in one listing. No,
you could do a variant.
I don't think that you can do that though, because it'll automatically send the digital file.
You're right.
I don't think that you can do that. Yeah, I think that they need to be separate. But in terms of can you do it? Totally. I would.
What advice would you give someone who is losing hope?
On Etsy, understand that you're not alone and this is business and it's hard. And if you take it too personally, it's not for you. This isn't for everybody. It takes a lot of resilience and backbone and thick skin.
People don't want to hear it, but when you actually look at the number of business, it's different in the handmade world, but look at the number of businesses that fail, it's most, right?
Yeah.
So I think for the most people, they're figuring out whether or not it's for them. Maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
And if you really do want it and you don't know what you're doing wrong, a lot of the time I see a lot of people, they're not able to take an objective view of what they're doing. They're looking at their thing and it's your baby, right? And you can't say there's nothing wrong with my shop. There's always something wrong with your shop.
Oh, yeah.
There's always something you could critique. And if you're not capable of critiquing that for yourself, then either getting a mentor. We have our Handmade Alpha Facebook community. There's tons of people in there that would be willing to mentor, help you, tell you what is wrong. If you're not capable of critiquing yourself, you could always, hire that family member that doesn't like anything that you do to critique your shop. Believe it or not, that good. It might not be good for your mental health, but it might be good for you to say, okay, well, maybe my pictures suck. Maybe you think your pictures are good and they're terrible. Maybe you're misspelling things. Maybe your SEO doesn't make sense. I mean, it could be any number of things that make a shop not succeed.
And here's the thing, success really boils down to your ability to treat this as if it was like college. I want you, if you really want to do this, and it doesn't need to be my channel, but feel free to use mine. There are so many educators out there. Go through my videos, get yourself a notebook. This is what I do. Anytime I want to learn something new, I get myself a nice, clean composition notebook, some pretty pens, and I take notes on everything. Sit and tackle each topic one by one. First, we're going to cover SEO. You do everything related to SEO. I've got tons of free SEO resources down below this video. I've got tons of SEO videos on my channel. Spend like a month tackling SEO. Once you feel like you've got a good grip on SEO, move on to the next thing. Maybe it's brand psychology. Start thinking about branding. What is the psychology of branding? There's tons of books about branding. 22 Immutable Laws of Branding is a great one. If you guys want to know my full reading list for all of my favorite business and business psychology books, you can go to handmadealphaacademy.com. All of the freebies that I have are listed right under like my main banner. And the Alpha Library is one of them. And you can find so much good stuff.
What's the other URL they can use to get to our website? We bought another URL for our last launch.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
That was just for the sales page.
Okay. We should redirect that and use it all year. Should I divide all of my shop sections into separate Etsy shops, or is there a way to be an Etsy department store and still get attention with SEO for the separate sections?
I have never seen an Etsy department store that does well ever and I've been doing this for 10 years now. I have never seen an Etsy Walmart that does well. But I also seldom see people who have 10 shops and all 10 of them do well. You have to ask yourself, why do I want to have more shops? More shops does not equal more money. It equals more time and stress and cost. Start with one shop that has a defined niche and then niche your way down, start there. And then if you decide to start another shop, do that after you get one successful. You don't say, I love building houses. I'm going to put down this foundation and this foundation and this foundation. And then I'm going to put a door here and a door there and a door, here. But then this one's going to have no, you build one house. That way you got somewhere to live first. And then you start working on the other houses. You need to have one sustainable store before you start expanding out. And then you know how Etsy works by then, hopefully.
Am I late running a Mother's Day sale? If not, how long should I run the promo for? Right up to Mother's Day? ?
Are you in the UK?
Only for shoppers and back to regular pricing just before the holiday.
Are you in the UK?
Yeah, I think it's different.
Yeah, UK Mother's Day is like right now, but US Mother's Day is not till May. So
if you sell in the US, then your Mother's Day is fine right now.
Or if you sell in the UK and you want to target US shoppers, you can totally do it. Here's the thing, Mother's Day sale. You can do a Mother's Day sale. You're not guaranteeing that the products are going to arrive on time, but are you late? I mean, no, just do it. It's not going to hurt you. You're not doing anything wrong by doing it.
Is it better to reopen a 2-year-old Etsy shop or create a new one? I don't know if I should reopen my old sticker shop that had 250 sales or create a new one where I'll still sell stickers.
Keep it. It's
a lot of work.
Yeah, you have a history already. You've already got good standing with Etsy. There is a sales history there. You should definitely keep that shop. Absolutely. 250 sales is significant.
How many niches is it okay to have? I don't think I can just stick to 3. Most people stick to 1.
Yeah, most people stick to 1.
You pick a niche or a genre, and it depends on the type of product that you sell.
And I know that you guys hate to hear that, but if you hate to hear it, then prove me wrong and be successful with selling lots of stuff.
Be successful in all of those niches at the same time.
And how many, a lot of, the problem is a lot of people get confused with having a lot of different types of product with having multiple niches, and that's not the case. I love using Amber Marie as an example. Amber Marie sells pet portraits, right? She sells pet portraits or portraits on cards, blankets, prints, mugs, all these different products.
The niche is the dog.
Right. Her niche is not mugs, blankets, prints, cards.
It's the dogs. And her customers could be metalheads and valley girls and stoners and Texans and like everyone. Anyone that likes a dog. It's not one particular kind of person. Her niche is dogs.
Dog lovers. So don't confuse product with niche.
That's different.
Think more about the type of person who's buying them, because if you're selling baby clothes and cigar boxes, that is not the same target audience, and I would not buy from that shop.
I received a 2-star review, so I reached out to the customer asking how I could have made it better, and she said she didn't realize I left 2 stars, meant to leave 5, and changed it.
That's awesome. And
it happens a lot, actually.
I've got a video on that, what to do if you get a bad review on Etsy, and that's exactly what I recommend is, just message them and say, hey, how could I have made this experience better for you? And a lot of times they did mistakenly give you a bad review totally on accident.
Randomly, it said Stoner Texans. Don't think there's a lot of those, but I'm sure there's a few.
I don't know. Everybody who's in Texas? Let us know. Are there stoners?
Yeehaw, bro.
We were in Texas, but only for a couple months. So.
And I think most of them liked alcohol more than the others.
Yes.
They drove very fast. Does having digital items set for commercial versus personal make a difference?
Commercial means that you are licensing them for commercial use, right?
Yeah.
It's how you want people to use them. If you don't want people using them for their own projects and possibly reselling them on Etsy, then make sure that you select personal.
She said, "Oh my God, you said my last name right." It's like normal last names I can't do right, but like ones that are hard to pronounce, I always get super well. I don't know.
Miranda.
My brain doesn't work right.
Polenta.
Polenta. That's your name now. You are the polenta.
We give everybody who's in our chat like a lot. They all get a special name from where we glance at their name and mispronounce it, and then that just becomes their name, like Gilligan.
If I'm an E-rank looking for keywords for hoodie, would the terms graphic hoodie and cute hoodie be tags?
Yeah, but you don't need to repeat the word hoodie. I would do graphic hoodie and then cute, something else related to the design. You don't need to repeat those terms. We actually talked a lot about this in last week's episode of the Friday Bean. I mean, I don't think that you were there for that one, Abby. So be sure to go back and watch that one because I think it'll help you a lot.
Polite way to ask a customer to change a 3-star review. It's really hurting my shop. You don't really ask them to change a 3-star review.
You're not allowed to ask them.
Yeah, you can't really do that.
I do have a video on my channel from a couple weeks ago. It's what to do about bad reviews or how to fix a bad review or something like that. I would definitely go back and watch that because I've got some really, really great steps on things that you can do to kind of encourage your buyers to increase their their reviews, but there's nothing that you can do to make them.
I sell art prints, but haven't been posting my originals yet. I fear getting scammed. Is getting scammed with a payment a possibility after the customer pays through Etsy?
No.
Not particularly.
No. The thing is, Etsy is the layer of protection both for you and the buyers. So if your customer did do something, scammy, it would go through Etsy. Etsy would be the one to flag and identify cases of scam or fraudulence. It just depends on what you mean by scam. Is it a fraudulent purchase? What specifically and how are they scamming you?
Somebody had asked, I believe Etsy considers an item if vintage if it's over 20 years old. Yeah. So can I list them in my shop without fear? 2003. Okay, so they bought an item that's from 2003. That's exactly 20 years. If you can find the exact date, as long as it is over the exact 20-year mark, because that's the industry standard for everything. I just looked it up to make sure. 20 to 99 years is vintage. Anything over 100 years is antique.
Now, you do need to be careful because you could say Japanese toys, but if it was a Japanese toy, but it was like a Pikachu, Nintendo's going to come after you. So
You still got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
I'm late joining the live, but I wanted to say thank you for the information in the live with Printify. Yeah, that Printify live went really well.
Thank you guys. If you guys want to watch the replay to that awesome webinar, it's linked down below. It was a lot of fun. I was so nervous.
Carolina said a customer asked me for a refund and never returned the item. Etsy still gave the client the money back and she never sent me the product back. Message Etsy.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. If you are on the platform just as much as the customer is, you're entitled to the same rights, right? So get with Etsy.
Absolutely.
That's not necessarily a scam. That's just a customer being an absolute butt nugget.
And I'm, you know,
Happens.
I would never refund a customer until you have the product back.
Etsy's been not really giving people a choice.
No, they don't take it out
of
of your money. They take it out of theirs. Buyer protection money, Etsy pays it on your behalf.
Thought it was only up to a certain dollar amount.
Yeah, but you are not supposed to return a product or refund a product until it is in your hands.
I do have a question regarding the Facebook community as well. I tried to join but was denied due to my page age. I started back in October of 22. How old does my page have to be? We don't have a rule for that. Were you given a reason that your Facebook was denied, or did you not answer the questions that are provided to you when you try to join?
Which sometimes if you're joining from mobile, they don't pop up, but there are 3 questions that you have to answer in order to be approved. And I have that set on auto. I'm usually not even looking at those.
If you don't answer those within a certain period of time, the system will just reject you. You have to answer all 3. Yeah,
Amanda, try to join again. Double check for the 3 membership questions. That way you can make sure that you get approved. But if for any reason you're not approved, just send me an email at starla@handmadealphaacademy.com. Starla@handmadealphaacademy.com. And we'll be off for the weekend after this, but Mark can help you out on Monday.
What about Google Ads? What about them?
Google Ads are going to be hard because you are competing on Google. Think about that. You're trying to compete with companies who advertise on Google. They got a lot of money. I would focus on Etsy ads.
Andy Gill said I answered the questions. I'm pretty sure it said page age. Well, try to join again because that's not a
yeah, that shouldn't be a thing.
I was rejected based on page age too.
Well,
we'll go through our settings, but that's not that's
well, no, that is something that can be set, but
but it's not.
But I made it a point to not set it up. Okay.
We'll double check.
We will check it right when the stream is done, and then you guys can try again. Okay.
What is the best social media for print on demand? I do Pinterest, but that's not doing much. That's print on demand is not a niche. Dog mom shirts is a niche. Sports kids shirts is a niche. Cocktail dads shirts is a niche. There is no answer to that. It's based on the demographic. So you need to compare the demographics of the platforms. Who mostly uses Instagram? It's, maybe it's women ages 19 to 36. Oh, I'm selling, shirts about dog moms. Cool. Pinterest might be a great place, or Instagram might be a great place for me. That's how you compare demographics and identify it. But really, just it doesn't take a lot of time to test them out and spend a little bit of time on the platforms. Right now, Instagram is my personal favorite. It's easy to get started. I've got that free Instagram challenge kit down below, but Instagram seems to be a really, really great platform to start as long as you're consistent. Chris had said, I'm from Austin. We have an entire festival devoted to smoking. Marley Fest. Police walk around with a massive festival full of tents and bongs. Everyone knows. I didn't know. I'm stereotyping. Come on. It's live format. I can't know everything, all things at all time.
But that's why we have Chris here to let us know.
Thanks. Now I know there's Marley Fest. See you there.
I want to see that. I want to go to Marley Fest. I bet it's gnarly.
Gnarly Marley.
Gnarly Marley.
I bet that's a strain.
Bob Marley's Marley Gnarly.
That's a strain for sure. Johnny said, I've just been cold calling to drive traffic. Is that a good idea? No, I prefer door to door. I think that works best. I feel like quality over quantity wins. The feeling, the brand. That's how it is. How do you offer an email list without a website? Is that something I can add to the message on the customer's order, on the product insert? Are there Etsy rules about this?
you don't need a website. MailChimp.com, free up to 500 subscribers. Used to be 2,000. They changed it. Free up to 500 email list subscribers. You are absolutely allowed to. Etsy allows us to. They have a whole article about it. If you just search Etsy email lists, you should be able to find it. And yes, product insert. I would put it, in your listing photos. You can set up an automatic discount code that sends out to customers right when they, view, or right when they sign up for your email list. If you want to send them like a 20% off code for their purchase, that's a really great incentive to get them to join and to actually follow through with their purchase. Now, I don't teach MailChimp here because there are a lot of legalities, including GDPR and the Canned Spam Act, and I don't want any of you guys to get yourselves in trouble. I exclusively teach mailing list stuff in my coaching program, which is the Handmade Alpha Academy. That's not open until June 14th, but there is a waiting list linked down in the video description. That doesn't obligate you to buy it, but it does let you know when we've opened.
Yep, we'll send you an email.
But MailChimp, write that down and take a look at it because it's free and they've got great help articles.
I sell repurposed book art. What do you think of the photos on white background versus stylized professional quality photos? Should there be a mix? Should your thumbnail photo be a stunning stylized photo?
Nobody can really tell you that. It completely depends on your target audience.
I've seen both.
Test and experiment.
It really does depend on the product itself and your capability to create that stunning photo. Can you create a good backdrop? Are you experienced enough in photography and set design in order to do that? How long have you been doing it? If you can make it look really good, as long as you can tell that the product is what you're selling and it's not the random crap in the background, then do whatever you feel works best for you.
Yep. Study and analyze your results and then rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat, dog. Is it worthwhile to try and gain traction on Pinterest, or should I channel my energy on working on my store and driving more organic Etsy traffic? Again,
all in both.
All of it.
I got a great video that I just did a couple weeks ago about Pinterest marketing for Etsy that you might want to check out. But you kind of got to bounce around. Sometimes you got to be the marketer, and then sometimes you got to be the person working on the store, and then sometimes you got to be the person who's designing the products. You have a lot of different hats to wear as an Etsy seller. You've got to be a graphic designer. You've got to be your own marketing agency. You've got to be the shipping department. There's so much that you got to do. But don't feel bad about bouncing around and maybe assigning days of the week. Monday is marketing day. Tuesday is product creation day. Wednesday, I'm shipping stuff.
Chris said, sorry, I meant the police all know. Wouldn't expect you to know. People still fully expect horses and cowboy boots. Austin's slogan is keep Austin weird. We're not like the rest. I know, I watched King of the Hill, and they joke about all the hippies in Austin all the time in the show.
We lived in San Angelo.
Yeah.
By the Concho.
That's not really Texas. It's more just kind of the desert.
It smelled like butt all the time outside.
It was awful, and the water was nasty because they didn't filter the chlorine out. Newbie here. What is your take on having a loss leader product in your shop where you sell it for low in order to gain sales, start getting reviews? We hate it. I think it's a shady, crappy way to get customers, and it doesn't build repeat customers because you're building an expectation that you are selling a product for a price. And as soon as those people come back to buy from you again, they're going to see that your product is 5-10 times what it cost before, what you should actually be selling it for, and they're not going to buy it. You're going to be selling to cheapskates.
Yeah. Here's the thing, all these little tricks, all these little hacks that you hear about, all these little, and it's mostly like the bros, the cool bro YouTubers. Yeah, here's this one trick to make 1 million sales.
Quit listening to these people.
If
they pop up on YouTube and they get like 200,000 subscribers in the first month, then they're teaching you crap that's going to get you in trouble, or stuff that's not going to work for very long, or stuff that's not going to build you a long-term sustainable business. And let's look at crypto. That went great for a month. And then now all of those people are bankrupt and had to sell their houses and cars in order to survive. Yeah, crypto was great. And there's a bunch of channels that popped up out of nowhere showing you all this advice on how to make money. And it worked for a month and then
Yeah.
everybody got broke, right? Don't pay attention to the fad hype people.
Right, they're marketplace adrenaline junkies.
Yes.
Like
and most of those people aren't even from Etsy. They'll start on Amazon. Those people last year were teaching you how to like sell face masks on Amazon for a bunch of money, right?
Yeah, it's like the drop shipping people, the people who are like, make as much money as possible by doing no work. Like, yeah, that'd be great, but it's not.
And Johnny even said that's not what a loss leader is. You would keep the price low for the in the door item, but try to upsell another item to make more money. It's a way to get people into your shop, but you can't really loss leader on a digital shop where that product could be shown anywhere in your shop, not right front and center, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But either way, I mean, here's the thing, as with everything, you're free to test whatever you want.
And it will get you, we're not going to lie and say that won't get you sales. Listing an item that most people are selling for $10 for $2 probably will get you sales. There's a lot of poor people out there. There's a lot of people that want to buy something and don't want to spend a whole lot of money, but those are not people that are going to come back. Those are not people that are going to come back to your store and continue to buy. So as soon as you boost your prices up, the initial boost that you got from making all those sales, there's going to be a lull that's going to cancel all of that out. So you're going to have a bunch of sales, and that might be a positive thing, looking to see that you have a lot of sales, but you're not going to have the organic traffic after your shop goes completely dead for 6 months because you raised your prices to what they should be. And you're going to lose a bunch of money in the process. I just really don't think it's worth it. It's a tactic to make sales, and I won't lie and say that it won't make sales. It definitely will, but it's probably going to hurt you in the long run. We're actually at the 1:30 mark, so we can go ahead and cut it. Apologies if we weren't able to get to your question. We're at 350 people, though, and we'll literally go all day if we don't ever stop. We stop at the 1.5 hour mark, so if we did not get to answer your question today, make sure you join the Friday Bean next week, or if noon Eastern isn't your thing all the time, next Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, there's the E-Rank live stream.
Yeah, go to E-Rank's YouTube channel. Just search E-Rank. We're the only E-Rank. And we answer questions on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. That is a great opportunity to ask questions as well. Guys, consider donating before we get offline. We are currently doing our fundraiser for Turkey and Syria and the children who were victims of the devastating earthquakes that killed. Now, last I checked, it was 42,000 people, but I am assuming that probably as they sift through the wreckage, they probably found more. So please, please, please consider donating. That money goes straight to the Save the Children Foundation. We don't see a dime of it. Guys, there are so many freebies down below and awesome resources for you.
There's a place, I know a lot of people were asking where to find stuff.
Oh,
below the video in the description.
Close the live chat out.
Close the live chat out if you're on mobile. There's a way that you can expand it out, and there are just links galore in there telling you exactly what they are, and they're all free. The waiting list for our course that we open in June and December is down there. Make sure you join that if you want to sign up.
Yeah. The Etsy Etsy Oodles Toolbox is the most recent freebie that I released. It is fantastic. It contains a step-by-step strategy. It has literally every video that I have created about Etsy SEO that I feel is essential. So nothing fluff. It is the exact order that I would recommend watching them in if you don't know how to do Etsy SEO. That includes my Science of Etsy Success workshop, which is basically how Etsy's algorithm works. And we had so many questions about that, guys. This is something that you need if you don't know how Etsy's algorithm works, how to keyword optimize your listings, what Etsy's actually looking for, and what Etsy needs in order to rank your listing. So all of those factors that Etsy uses to rank you in search and put your listings in front of people, you can appeal to all of those. Keywords are just one of the factors that Etsy uses. There are 7 that they tell us about. So consider grabbing that if you need it. There's also the 30-day Instagram challenge. If you want to actually, dedicate some time to a month of driving up your Instagram followers for your business account, if you want to use it as an efficient, advertising powerhouse for your Etsy shop. If you want to get into better posting habits, just kind of learning, okay, when should I be posting what? When do I post a reel? When do I post a feed post? When do I post stories? It'll tell you exactly what you need to do every single day for 30 days. And you can start that at any time. And you can repeat it. We have some people who just perpetually do it every month. It has become what they do all the time. So that's down below as well. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Mark and I are going to be in Cincinnati tonight going to our rave. That's why we're...
If you want to listen to what we're listening to, only listen to it if you like EDM. We're going to be going and seeing Subtronics for his Antifractals tour. It's going to be super fun. If you're going to be there, feel free to come say hi, but don't expect us to be sober enough to know who you are. It's a concert.
Our hotel, we got a hotel right around the corner.
Yeah, literally around the corner. So,
but I'll probably post pictures tonight on my on my personal Instagram. That if you type it in for me, it's Starla K More. Can you type it in for me?
Yeah, sure.
It's Starla K More, the letter. Or you guys can also follow the actual Handmade Alphas business Instagram. That is a great place to get extra tips. I post Etsy myths and things like that. That's just Handmade Alphas on Instagram. That's a great place where you can kind of interact with me more on the business level. Don't message me about business on my personal account. That's my
You'll
place.
get ignored.
Yeah, that's my place. That's my place. But Handmade Alphas for the Instagram account.
And if you are an alpha, we obviously won't be answering emails until Monday. So, But we love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. It's free. It helps us out a whole lot, and it guarantees that you see our content when we post it. She posts a video. Hold on. She posts a video every Tuesday. We do a live stream pretty much every Friday, except like if we're gone, and if we're gone, we'll post another video. You can click the little bell icon if you have the YouTube app installed on your phone, and it should send you a notification every time we go live. And give us a thumbs up if you like the video. It helps.
Hey, and last Tuesday, I released one of the best videos that I think I have ever published. I hope you guys go back and watch that. On Tuesday, the video that I released will tell you how many people are actually filtering by shops that have star seller badges, how many people are filtering by shops who offer free shipping. I know
actual data, not anecdotal.
Right. And I know a lot of you guys stress about that. Oh, Etsy says that I got to offer free shipping, or I won't. Oh, Etsy says that I need to have a star seller badge.
Don't worry about it. Go watch the video.
Go watch that video.
Don't matter.
We got our hands on some amazing data that no other YouTubers other than Pam Duthie had access to. It was a data set of 100,000 Etsy buyers, which is a significant data set when we're talking about behavioral patterns. Go watch that video. It's going to answer a lot of questions, and it is content that you're not going to find anywhere else. So, and then this upcoming Tuesday, it's going to be, I think, 12 reasons that Etsy shops get banned from Etsy.
Ooh. Looking at you people who think it's okay to sell copyright stuff, you stinkies.
You stink.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good one. Wave your hands.
Wave your hands.
Bye. We have to wait for a while because there's like a huge delay.
Wave your hands.
It's like a huge delay. It's massive.